Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something I'm super excited about. If you've ever looked at the vast universe of machine learning and just felt totally overwhelmed by all the algorithms, pipelines, and jargon, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're going to completely demystify this space. We're taking all that complex theory and transforming it into a simple, structured map that you can actually make sense of. So get ready because we are mapping the machine learning landscape together.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with a welcome to machine learning, walk through the ML data pipeline, explain supervised and unsupervised learning, touch on reinforcement learning basics, and finally, look at deploying ML models. Let's jump right in.
All right, Section 1, Welcome to Machine Learning. Let's set the stage and figure out what this field is actually all about before we get into any of the heavy mathematical weeds.
You know, machine learning really isn't magic. It's just a specific branch of artificial intelligence. Think about traditional programming. We have to give a computer explicit step-by-step instructions for every little scenario. But ML? It totally flips the script. It develops algorithms that let computers learn from data on their own, no explicit rules required. We're essentially teaching these systems to think, understand, and adapt like we do, just by showing them patterns in the data.
Now, the whole ML universe basically breaks down into three main types based on how they learn. First up, supervised learning. This is kind of like learning with a teacher's answer key. The data is labeled, and our goal is to predict or classify things. Then there's unsupervised learning. Imagine trying to organize a messy garage without any instructions. The data has no labels, so the system just has to find hidden patterns or natural groups on its own. And lastly, reinforcement learning. It's honestly a lot like training a pet with treats. The system learns through trial and error, constantly adjusting its actions to get the biggest reward.
Moving on to Section 2, the ML data pipeline. Because before any of that cool learning can happen, we've got to get our data ready to go.
This pipeline is truly the unsung hero of machine learning. You literally can't just toss raw data at an algorithm and expect a miracle. Step 1 is data preprocessing, basically cleaning up missing values and scaling features so everything is on a level playing field. Step 2 is exploratory data analysis, where we visualize everything to catch some early insights. And Step 3 is model evaluation. That's where we rigorously test our models to make sure they're actually working. Bottom line, your algorithms are totally useless without clean data and honest, thorough evaluation.
So, how do we actually do that evaluation? Well, think of these metrics as your model's report card. A model might boast that it's 90% accurate, but is it just blindly guessing? To find out, we use tools like the confusion matrix to see exactly where our model is tripping up. We look at precision and recall, which feed into the F1 score to balance out false positives and negatives. And we rely on things like the AUC-ROC curve and cross-validation to make sure the model is consistently reliable no matter what data we throw at it. These are the tools that prove your model is actually doing its job.
All right, Section 3, Supervised Learning Explained. With our data prepped and our report cards ready, let's step into the first major kingdom on our map, where we hand the algorithm that teacher's answer key.
The big thing to grasp here is the split between the two main types of supervised learning. On one side, you've got classification. This is all about putting things into discrete buckets. Think about it like asking, is this email spam or not spam? Is this patient sick or healthy? But on the flip side, we have regression. This isn't about categories at all. It's about predicting an exact continuous number, like tomorrow's exact temperature or the future price of a house.
Let's take a quick look at the heavy hitters you'll use for these problems. You've got linear regression for finding those basic numerical trends, and logistic regression for straightforward yes or no categorical answers. Then there are decision trees, which are basically just giant, highly structured flowcharts. There's k-nearest neighbors, or KNN, which literally looks at the closest data points to make a guess based on similarity. Support vector machines draw these complex boundaries to separate categories. Oh, and naive Bayes? That's a super fast, probability-based algorithm that's famous for catching your spam emails.
But what happens if one algorithm just isn't cutting it on its own? That is where ensemble learning saves the day. It's basically the ultimate teamwork approach in ML. Instead of leaning on just one single decision tree, for example, we use techniques like bagging or boosting to combine hundreds of simple models into one massively accurate mega model. The random forest algorithm is a perfect example here. It literally builds an entire forest of decision trees that all vote together to give you an incredibly smart prediction.
Now for Section 4, unsupervised learning techniques. Let's shift gears. We're leaving this safe world of answer keys behind and venturing into territory where the algorithm has absolutely no labels and has to figure things out entirely on its own. There are really three main ways algorithms handle a giant pile of chaotic data here. First is clustering, which naturally groups similar data points together. This is a total game changer for finding hidden segments in customer data, for instance. Second is association rule mining. You see this in market basket analysis. It finds patterns, like noticing that folks who buy diapers almost always grab baby wipes too. And third, dimensionality reduction. This takes massively complex datasets and simplifies them by stripping away the noise while keeping the most crucial information totally intact.
If we zoom in on clustering, which is hugely popular by the way, you'll run into a few specific algorithms. Don't worry about the heavy math, just the concepts. K-means is what we call a centroid-based method. It basically drops anchor points into the data and gathers the closest points around them. dbScan, on the other hand, works differently. It looks for dense, packed areas of data. That makes it incredibly good at ignoring random, stray outlier points, or what we call noise.
Moving right along to Section 5, Reinforcement Learning Basics. If supervised learning is a teacher and unsupervised is an explorer, this one is an interactive agent navigating an environment using a system of rewards.
When you dive into reinforcement learning, you'll see it splits into two main philosophies. Model-based methods try to build an internal map or simulation of the environment first, using it to plan and predict outcomes before actually making a move. But model-free methods, they just jump right in. They learn directly from real-world experience and instant feedback without mapping it out beforehand. This is where you'll find highly famous algorithms like Q-learning, where the agent literally tweaks its future actions based directly on the positive or negative consequences of what it just did.
Finally, Section 6, Deploying ML Models. Because all this awesome theory doesn't mean much if it just sits on your laptop. Let's see how this builds into real-world applications.
Honestly, a perfectly trained model is kind of useless until you wrap it in an API or user interface so everyday people can actually interact with it. The good news? Modern tools make this an absolute breeze. You can use libraries like Streamlit or Gradio to whip up gorgeous web apps for your models in no time. You can host them on platforms like Heroku. Or if you need other software to securely talk to your model, you can build an API using frameworks like Flask or FastAPI. This is the moment your code turns into a real, usable product.
But here's the thing, deployment isn't just a one-and-done event. That's where MLOps, or machine learning operations, comes in. Real-world data changes, user habits shift, and models can totally go stale. MLOps is all about the continuous integration, continuous deployment, and constant monitoring required to keep these smart systems running accurately and efficiently for months and years in a live production environment. It's what keeps the whole machine running smoothly.
And just like that, we've mapped out the landscape. We've covered the pipeline, the algorithms, the three learning kingdoms, and deployment. But you know, the most important piece of the puzzle isn't actually on any of these slides. It's you. Now that you've got a grip on how this technology categorizes, predicts, and learns, I want to leave you with this question. What human problem will you solve using your own machine learning model? Take this structured roadmap, dive into the tutorials, and start building your very own project today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.